So has the national emblem been tinkered with? Are the opposition charges valid or unfounded? Is the controversy much ado about nothing? Has the entire parliament building now become part of a rewriting of modern history, as the BJP, according to the opposition, the BJP is doing? Joining me now, Syed Zafar Islam is the BJP's spokesperson. Jawar Sirkar is Trinamool Congress MP in the Rajya Sabha. Ajoy Kumar is spokesperson. Let me come to you, Jawar Sirkar, since you were among those who first raised this controversy. You've been a former government servant as well. I want to understand from you, what is it about this symbol that troubles you so much? Surely a sculptor is allowed some leeway when they are making such a large sculpted Ashok structure on the top of Parliament.
You see, there are instructions of the government for any number of years that there should be no deviation altogether from national symbols. The national flag, the constitution, the Ashok Stamb. There should be. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Please go ahead.
Hello?
Please go ahead,
Okay.
Mr. Sirkar.
So there should be no deviation. Okay. So there should be no deviation altogether. There must be replicas and true replicas of the approved model. Now, in this case, the approved model is the Sarnath capital. The capital on top of the Sarnath pillar. And I have had the good fortune of seeing it again and again as Culture Secretary. Now, I know what it looks like, and many of us are fully aware of its dimensions, of its majesty. It represents lions in their sovereign power, but lions who represent peace, don't represent aggression. It is what we call regal sangyam, or regal restraint. The message of India, peace, peace but with sovereign powers. Now that has not been understood, number one. Number two, the statue, now they are saying that the sculpture, if it's put on top, represents a distortion from the view from the bottom. Now that is pretty ridiculous. We knew all along that you were putting the sculpture on top and that it would give a distorted view from the bottom. You don't expect people to carry ladders with them, climb up to the top and see whether it matches. From all the visuals that we have seen, whether 2D or 3D, I think we understand these basics. This continuous harping on this logic 2D and 3D, as if they are esoteric secrets being doled out from some building in Rouse Avenue. No, it's not like that. We have seen it, and there are distortions, there are deviations, and some of the deviations look so jarring to the eye. As I said, the first one is the regality of the composure of the lions has been replaced by toothy aggression. It's almost like the way Hanuman, a dear mascot, a dear friend, was converted on the backs of cars with a grimacing, with a threatening look. The aggression that came into Hanuman through these caricatures, this is not acceptable to most peace-loving people of India, peace-loving Hindus. Similarly, the lions have been...
No, go ahead, finish up.
Go on, please.
No, you are
So this is not acceptable.
This is not acceptable. You're saying this is not acceptable. The imagery,
Hello?
you have a problem with the imagery, am I correct? Your problem is, you believe that the imagery distorts the original idea of the Ashok Chakra, of the Ashok pillars, right?
Absolutely, and there is no scope, the capital symbol of Ashok Stamb, as we call it, the Rashtriya Stamb. So we have absolutely no scope for any deviation. It's tomorrow you can't have an elongated flag. Tomorrow you can't invert the colors. Tomorrow you can't bring in Disney lions and place them saying, we have put 4 lions. No, this is not possible.
Okay.
This is an insult, as I have said.
Okay,
this is an insult.
Okay, you're calling it an
insult.
insult.
It needs to be rectified in whatever form.
Let Mr. Zafar Islam respond. Mr. Zafar Islam, you've heard what a former culture secretary, now Trinamool Congress MP is saying. that there are certain things which are sacrosanct. Among them are the Ashok pillars. And this structure, whether 2D, 3D, is seen to be a distortion. Therefore, Syed Zafar Islam, do you at some stage believe that maybe the opposition could have been consulted before these decisions are taken by a small group in the government of India? Even at yesterday's function, only the Prime Minister was there among major politicians, the opposition not invited. Is this the problem being created because there is no consensus before the unveiling of this major symbol atop Parliament building?
Rajdeep, first of all, let me tell you very candidly that there is absolutely no distortion, there is absolutely no deviation. All this allegation is baseless, it is only manipulative and is only to mislead the people of this great country. They know, we understand, there is absolutely no issues they have. There is a complete bankruptcy of issues in opposition bench. They cannot target the government on their working. That's why they have resorted to such thing of stories that try to mislead the people. But the clarification has come from none other than the sculptors themselves. They themselves have clarified, the artists have clarified that there is absolutely no deviation, no distortion, and it's a replica. And
no, you're saying it's a replica, Mr. Zafar Islam, you're saying it's a replica. I'll ask my producer, you put those two images. Tell me now whether it's a replica. No, 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. No, 1 minute. At the end of the day, it is also the people of the country how they see it. Take a look at the two images. Clearly, there is some sense that there is a more aggressive depiction of the three lions. Now, why not concede that and maybe say that the government wants to project it as that? Maybe that's the government's intention.
No, well, you're narrating something which is away from reality. The fact that had that been the case, the government would have stated that. But the fact that there is absolutely no distortion, there is no deviation, it is only the angle at which you are seeing these two images. That's why you are making this kind of statement.
Okay.
And they have clarified, the sculptors have clarified, the artists have clarified. What else you want, the kind of confirmation you want?
Okay.
It is just, the size has changed. You are seeing from the ground, and the size has changed, and you are looking at a different angle, and that's why the impression you are getting is different than the actual one, which is in
okay,
Apart from that, let me also tell you one more thing.
Yes.
That you are saying about invitation. See, first of all, it is still not handed over to the Parliament. Secondly, when the Bhumi Pujan was there, of a new Parliament meeting, these same people didn't turn up. The invites have been sent to everyone. Why didn't they turn up? Today they are making this kind of statement. They should be ashamed first that when the invitation was sent, you ignored.
Was an invitation, no, 1 minute, Mr. Zafar Islam, was an invitation sent yesterday to opposition leaders for yesterday's
No, see, yesterday it was not warranted.
Not warranted?
The invitation was sent. No, not at all. Yesterday, had there been many MPs from the ruling party, had there been any MPs from the NDA, it is their thing.
So you're saying the unveiling of the national emblem atop the Parliament building is essentially a government function. Therefore, the opposition does not need to be invited. Am I correct?
For this event, no large gathering was notified. It's only the Speaker, the Urban Development Minister, and the Prime Minister. They were there. But let me pose this question. It is important for everyone to respond. Particularly, I'm talking about the opposition party's spokesperson, Jawahar Sarkar. I know him very well. We have shared the committee. But let me pose this question. When the invite was sent for the Bhumi Pujan of the same new Parliament building, where were you?
Okay, let me take that. Sir, you've asked that question. Let's take it to both of them. You, Ajay Kumar, first, because the Congress also today raised it, that all these functions are being held for the new Parliament building, but the opposition is never invited. And they are, according to Zafar Islam, the Bhumi Pujan function, which was held last year, the opposition was invited, it never came. Therefore, what are your objections if the Prime Minister therefore chooses to unveil the national emblem?
No, the couple of issues. Firstly, the BJP's, I don't know, dealing, either they think we all are extremely stupid or we just don't have an understanding. Look, Rajdeep, there is the Ashok Stamp, Ashok Stamp replica on top of the Karnataka Vidhan Sabha, the Karnataka Assembly. There is an Ashok Stamp. Now look at that. You're looking at it from down. Look at that Ashoka emblem and compare to what Mr. Modi's emblem here. First question. There also you're looking from below, 3D, 2D, all this. Amit Malviya's double speak is, one second, I'll complete, sir. Let me complete. The other issue is they have no respect for national symbols because recently they changed the flag code. Surreptitiously changed that now you can bring polyester. The flag code. So all the national symbols, whether it is related to Sarnath, Ashok Stamp, whether it's related to the freedom struggle, the continuous, because one is that they have no understanding and respect for history. Second, they believe in rewriting their own vulgar interpretation of whatever the history it is. And the most important is, the tragedy with this whole government is, look at the way they've approached this. It's on top of the parliament. The speaker is the head of the parliament, but the Prime Minister wants his photo all over the place. It's one man, one nation, one photo. And then he doesn't call the opposition. I mean, it's so petty. I mean, if you've never had a government or a Prime Minister where, you don't even involve it. Third, I've seen so many national functions where you have all religious people from all religions. You have the Guru Granth Sahib being read, you have the puja happening, you have the Christian passages. So that's the idea of, that's the idea of a unity of India. So the question again is, it's on the parliament. They have created a muscled up Sarnath tiger, and you look at the chest and you like the bulk up Sarnath tiger and said, they've had a
lions. The lions of Sarnath. But the fact is,
lions of Sarnath.
The fact is, Syed Zafar Islam, you want to quickly respond to that. The problem with all these functions around Parliament is becoming that it seems to be the entire focus is on an individual and the government. Parliament belongs to all parties. It does not belong only to the BJP or, dare I say, Mr. Modi. It belongs to all parties. What stops you from making this a consensual effort? It could have been, the design could have been discussed in the parliamentary committees. Why not do it? It will solve all these issues. You're saying today it's much ado about nothing. You could have resolved it very comfortably. Invite everyone, make it more consensual. The entire exercise of this new parliament building seems to be almost like a diktat from the top. That's the problem.
Well, Rajdeep, I think the opposition have no leg to stand on. Just do a back testing. The leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, and in Lok Sabha, the MP from Bengal, both were invited. They boycotted. I'm thinking the Congress spokesperson does not know about this development. Secondly, there are many such instances I can quote you where the invitation was sent, like for instance, on Constitution Day. The invite was sent and they didn't turn up. None of the opposition turned up. So they need to have first showcase the kind of response needs to be demonstrated by the opposition bench. They have never done it.
Jawar Sirkar, this is the third time on the show today. Zafar Islam, just a minute. Just a minute. Zafar Islam, this is the third time on the show, Mr. Jawar Sirkar.
Listen.
No, 1 minute now, sir.
Just a second. The parliament has the parliament has not been, the new parliament has not been handed over to the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Till that time, I think that the invites need not be sent to every MP or the opposition parties. That is what the protocol is.
Okay, you made your point. Let Jawar Sirkar respond. Mr. Sirkar, the opposition seems to have a problem that the entire focus is on the Prime Minister. I have seen some comment, one nation, one photo, as suggested by Ajoy Kumar.
No.
But when the opposition is invited, To many of the prime ministerial functions, you don't go.
I would not attend a particularly religious function devoted to one community in a secular state. I mean, those are issues we don't bring about. But right now, the major issue is that this is not a question of not consulting only on the national symbol on top. As Ajay put it so beautifully, you have so many national symbols on top of buildings, the Vidhan Saudha, as he mentioned. Its question is much wider, that of democratic principle, that of involving people. Not a single discussion has been held on the floor of either house. Not a single discussion has been held on the floor of either House of Parliament on the new buildings to which the MP shall be consigned. Their opinions have not been taken. It is a top-down offer, take it or leave it. There's no question of leaving, so take it and clap. This is not the way a democracy functions. This is not the way it functions. It reveals a mentality, as someone put it, a particular degree of meanness, pettiness. All we are doing is to point out, now the die is cast, that building that is coming up, its visual, its architecture leaves much to be questioned. Its selection of its architect, the same man who did Mr. Modi's projects in Sabarmati, did it in Ahmedabad, did it in Varanasi. He seems to be the only architect in India who is capable of producing wonders like the Parliament building, new Parliament building, like the Central Vista. For God's sake, let's get a hold on principles, normative principles of governance. So we cannot go on bending and crawling at every point. Okay. There is a totalitarian, there is an authoritarian wave going around, and this is just a reflection of it. We cannot be carrying ladders to go up to the top to see whether it's an absolute replica. We look at it from the bottom. And that is what you need to have factored in. And if you had factored in, if you had asked sensible people, who know how to do these things, instead of leaving it to some technocrats and bureaucrats and some over-ambitious ministers,
that's an ex-secretary to India saying that, you shouldn't have left it to bureaucrats. You were also a bureaucrat and a secretary to the government of India. Today you're saying it shouldn't have been left to the bureaucrats, Mr. Jawad Sirkar. Not all.
I have said not only.
No, so you're going to...
Not only. No, I said
opposition
not only.
Can't decide who... Opposition can't decide who is consulted and who is not. But either way, Mr. Zafar Islam, there has to be a wider process of consultation, surely. Why is this government reluctant to do that? The entire Central Vista, Parliament building, which is the symbol of our democracy, is being redesigned, and there isn't a wider group of architects or experts who are consulted. It's a small, tiny group. Suddenly it's unveiled, and you have a controversy like we have today.
There is no controversy.
There is a controversy,
as I said earlier, they want to create a controversy. They want to concoct stories and mislead the people. But this kind of stunt will backfire on them, because every time they have attempted to do this kind of stuff, it has not worked with the people of this great country. We know that today Mr. Jawad Sirkar is an amazing man. I know him well, but since he is in Parliament, he has been nominated in the Parliament by his party. Doesn't mean that he should start abusing his fellow bureaucrats. I mean, just because he is no more bureaucrats and he was earlier.
Yes,
so you should do that. Likewise, you should also do a back testing and find out whether this discussion was done in the previous government or not.
Rajdeep.
Jairam Ramesh has been actively involved in such a conversation and discussion.
Okay, let Ajoy Kumar now. Zafar Islam.
This kind of allegation.
Okay, Zafar Islam, you've had your word. Ajoy Kumar, a final word. Much ado about nothing. You've got nothing else to attack the government on. You've chosen the emblem.
No. The question is it's a series of action. Changing the flag, reducing Mahatma Gandhi to just a pair of spectacles, to not to, and whether they did it purposely or they did it by mistake. It is and you have adequate examples across the Park Strait where you can see what's happening for a government which doesn't listen and thinks it's got the mandate. And I heard Zafar saying that we got the mandate, we got the mandate. I mean, people across the Park State also have the mandate, and look where, what it landed up to. So the question is, the opposition is raising issues. We raised issues on BJP with terrorism, we raised issues on Agniveer, and we raised issues on national symbol, because it's the RSS and BJP DNA to try to change history, or don't have respect for history. Either way, the result is distortion and mutation of national symbols and the national...
let me leave it there. Gentlemen, let me leave it there. I think we've spent enough time on this today. Clearly, all of this could have been sorted out with a little bit of discussion, a little bit of dialogue. We could have avoided this if at all the process was a little bit more transparent than it appears at the moment. By the way, there used to be an inverted lotus at the bottom of the Ashok pillar. That was also removed a few years, many years ago. So actually, when you go to Sarnath, you will see a very different image to the one that you are going to see at the moment. But that's gone. We can go back to the Congress times, and we can go back to the BJP and come back now to the BJP. But thank you all very much for joining me here on that National Emblem debate.